Good morning.
So, friends, we're using a different internet connection this morning. So, if you notice that it's faster or slower, please let us know.
Yeah.
We're hoping it's faster.
Hi, Samudra.
All right. Okay, Bhante.
Okay. Okay, let us begin with metta. Uh, yes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is camera off?
Yeah.
Okay. May all beings be happy and secure. May
May
all
all
beings
beings
have
have
happy
happy
minds,
minds,
whatever
whatever
living
living
beings
beings
there
there
may
may
be,
be,
without
without
exception,
exception,
weak
weak
or
or
strong,
strong, long,
long, large,
large,
medium,
medium,
short,
short,
subtle
subtle
or
or
gross,
gross,
visible or
visible or
invisible,
invisible,
living
living
near
near
or
or
far,
far,
born
born
or
or
coming
coming
to
to
birth,
birth,
may
may
all
all
beings
beings have
have happy
happy
minds.
minds.
Let
Let
no
no
one
one
deceive
deceive
another,
another,
nor
nor
despise
despise
anyone
anyone
anywhere.
anywhere.
Neither
Neither
from
from
anger
anger
nor
nor
ill
ill
will
will
should
should
anyone
anyone
wish
wish
harm
harm
to
to
another.
another.
As
As
a
a
mother
mother
would
would
risk
risk
her
her
own
own life
life to
to
protect
protect
her
her
only
only
child,
child,
even
even
so
so
towards
towards
all
all
living
living
beings
beings,
one
one
should
should
cultivate a
cultivate a
boundless
boundless
heart.
heart.
One
One
should
should
cultivate
cultivate
for
for
all
all
the
the world
world a
a
heart
heart
of
of
boundless
boundless
loving
loving
friendliness,
friendliness,
above,
above,
below,
below,
and
and
all
all
around,
around,
unobstructed,
unobstructed,
without
without
hate or
hate or
resentment,
resentment,
whether
whether
standing,
standing,
walking,
walking,
sitting,
sitting,
lying
lying
down, or
down, or
whenever
whenever
awake.
awake.
One
One
should
should
develop
develop
this
this
mindfulness.
mindfulness.
This
This
is
is
called
called
divinely
divinely
dwelling
dwelling
here,
here,
not
not
falling
falling
into
into
erroneous
erroneous
views,
views,
but
but
virtuous
virtuous
and
and
endowed
endowed
with
with
vision,
vision,
removing
removing
desires
desire
for
for
sensual
sensual
pleasures.
pleasures.
One
One
comes
comes
never
never
again to
again to
birth in the
birth in the
womb.
womb.
This is her husband.
Hmm.
Okay. Close our pages. The screen.
Do you want? Okay, sure.
Okay, let us begin our meditation. As you noticed, every day we repeat the same instructions. Let us focus our mind on our breathing and notice inhaling as inhaling. Where is that screen? Picture bhavana.
Oh, sure.
So we focus our mind on our breath, noticing inhaling as inhaling, exhaling as exhaling. As we breathe in, we notice the breath touching our nostrils and expanding our lower abdominal area and chest area. As we breathe out, we notice contraction of lower abdomen, contraction of chest area, and breath leaving our nostrils. As we keep doing this again and again, every time we breathe in, these changes take place. We notice every moment that arises and passes away. No moment remains the same, and we can notice it more clearly when we gain better concentration. Now, at this time, notice the feeling that arises when we breathe in changes, perception changes, thought that arise when we breathe in also change and appear and disappear. Our consciousness appears and disappears. As we breathe out, feeling, perceptions, thought, and consciousness have changed. New thoughts, new feeling, new perception, new consciousness arise. Every time we breathe in and out, this is what is happening all the time. This rhythm never changes. Whatever arises passes away. Arising and passing, arising and passing. Whether we become aware or not, this is what is happening. The difference is that we become aware of it and let that happen without verbalizing, conceptualizing, theorizing, and criticizing or trying to hold our breath, control breath, or anything we don't try to control deliberately. Let them happen as they happen, and we notice. Notice what is happening. What is happening is rising and falling all the time. Then our desire to grab hold onto anything fades away. And then the breath relaxes, the body relaxes, the mind relaxes. When all these three segments, three parts relax, we will not have any rigidity, uptightness. In that relaxed state of mind, we begin to feel metta, begin to feel loving friendliness, and then also we notice when loving friendliness arises, compassion arises because that the loving friendliness leads to more further relaxation, and also we become aware of those suffering beings. We don't use words, but we know that there are other living beings breathing to the same rhythm. That means they also breathe like us. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, and they have suffering like we have. So compassion arises in us for all those who are suffering, and then our restlessness and worry fades away. When we do not have this state, we do not know how to be with them, how our heart goes there, and then we notice our mind and body become more energetic. This experience really energizes our body and mind, so our sleepiness and drowsiness fades away, and then we experience another moment of trust, faith, confidence in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. The confidence arises in the Buddha because what he taught us we are practicing, and the results are visible, personally experiential, and therefore confidence arises in us. Also confidence arises when we see the development of our own practice from the beginning up to this moment. Whatever happens we experience, This personal experience is the nature of Dhamma, the truth, and we can see it in here and now, is at this very moment. And as they arise and pass away, our mind develops the truth of impermanence, and then we also have faith in the community of practitioners, not only bhikkhu sangha, bhikkhuni, upasaka, upasika, whoever practices, belong to this category, and they all gain the same benefit just as we do, and therefore we will have confidence in this practice. So when confidence arises, that leads to joy because we can see the results, nothing to hide, no confusion, and then joy arises. This joy leads to happiness. When happy state arises, again body and mind becomes even more peaceful, calm, relaxed, tranquil. With this tranquil, calm, relaxed state of experience, mind naturally gains concentration. When we gain concentration, with the concentrated state of mind, we can see the deepest changes taking place in our body, feeling, perceptions, thoughts, and consciousness. What I mentioned are the five aggregates: Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana, form, feeling, perception, thought, and consciousness. We can see them in operation in our practice. Every moment we breathe in and out, they all also rise and fall. Feeling rises, perception rises, thought rises, consciousness rises. Whatever rises does not stay the same even for 2 consecutive moments. Whatever rises falls. Whatever arises passes, rising and falling. In the subtlest way we can see, that gives us deeper insight into the reality of impermanence. With this, we continue our practice. dukkhapattaca nidukkha bhayapattaca nibbhaya sokapattaca nisoka hontu sabbe pipanino.
May
May
the
the suffering
suffering
be
be
free
free
from
from
suffering.
suffering.
May
May
the
the
fear
fear
struck
struck
be
be
free
free
from
from
fear.
fear.
May
May
the
the
grieving
grieving
be
be
free
free
from
from grief.
grief. So
So
too
too
may
may
all
all
beings
beings
be.
be.
With this very meaningful, profound wish for peace, let us focus our mind on the talk that we want to give this morning. I want to continue the talk that I started the day before yesterday on Mahakachyana Bhaddekarata Sutta. In that discourse, we uh, discussed a part of it, but we did not have time to go through it in detail. Today I like to start from where we stopped. Last time we stopped at Atitan Nanwagameya Napatikamke Anagatan Yadatitan Pahinantang Apatang Anagatan. Let not a person survive the past or on the future build his hopes, for the past has been left behind and the future has not been reached. This is the meaning of the stanza in Pali. And today I want to continue this, the next stanza. So these are the stanzas that Buddha recited, but Venerable Mahakachyana began explain them. In his explanation, we will come across further details. The translation of what the Buddha said is Pachat Pachupannachayo Dhammang Tattva Tattva Vipassati. Pachupanna means present. Now, yo Dhamma means the phenomenon that arises in the present moment. Each presently arisen state in Dhamma is translated as state. Let him know that and be sure of it invincible, unshakably. Now this is the part that I am going to explain today. Pachupana is present moment. Dhamma is the state, that is the general meaning. Dhamma, of course, is any mental object, is Dhamma. When we focus our mind even for a moment, we will see Dhamma arising in us. What sort of Dhamma? Wholesome Dhamma or unwholesome Dhamma? What is wholesome Dhamma? What is unwholesome Dhamma? Unwholesome Dhamma is Dhamma. I use the word Dhamma. That unwholesome Dhamma is the Dhamma that would hurt us, hurt others, hurt both, now or in future, here or there. Whatever state of mind arises, when we pay mindful attention to that state, we will understand whether that particular mental state or that particular thought is harmful to others or harmful to us. Harmful in what sense? Harmful in attaining the goal. What is the goal? peace and happiness and liberation from suffering. If the mental state causes suffering to us, that is not wholesome. If the mental state causes suffering to others, that is not wholesome. If the state causes harm to us and others, that is not wholesome. Then that implies what is wholesome. Wholesome is that state leads to getting rid of our suffering, that is wholesome. Also, that should lead others to get rid of their suffering, that is wholesome. If the mental state is leading both us and them to liberate from suffering, that is wholesome. So, as Dhamma arises this very moment, Pachupannacho Dhamman Tatta Tatta Vipassati. We, Vipassana means seeing. The word Vipassana comes from the word Vipassati. Uh, the Drish is the Sanskrit root. From that arises Dasana. And Dasati also comes from the same root. That means seeing, seeing. When we see, not with our naked eyes, these things that protrude to outside and show outside, what we normally call eyes, but the eye of wisdom. When we wisely, that is why what we call yoniso manasikara. Mindfully we see very deep with what you call insight, with deep understanding, deep wisdom. We must see whether the particular mental state that arises this very moment, while I'm talking, while I'm listening, while you are here, there, while I'm here, at this very moment, if any mental state arises, if we pay mindful attention, we will see this is what is called yoniso manasikara, seeing from the root. Yoni means the root, the origin, source, in crude sense, birth canal. In other words, seeing from the root. What is the root? Greed, hatred, and delusion in unwholesome side. Non-greed, non-hatred, non-delusion is a wholesome side. So when we see the root of the arising of certain mental state, immediately we will be able to detect that particular mental state is wholesome or unwholesome, beneficial to us, beneficial to others, leading to gain liberation from suffering, or leading to gain suffering. So that is what called tatta tatta vipassati. See it as it arises. There are two meanings of seeing as it is. One meaning is rising and falling, seeing impermanence. Seeing impermanence is one way. Other way is this mental state on the one hand is impermanent, on the other hand, is this mental state leads to suffering or freedom from suffering. That is what is called seeing as it arises, tatta tatta, then and there, as it arises, sees. Now, this is the very important concept or teaching. Take the advantage of this present moment. Of course, many people trying to take the advantage of present moment. Young people would say, we will never have this golden age of youthfulness. we are young, we are healthy, energetic. We must take the advantage of this and eat, drink, enjoy, and it will never come back again. Therefore, right now, we must eat, drink, and enjoy. That is one way of taking the advantage of the present moment. Of course, that is not considered to be wholesome. There may be some present pleasure in the sensual experience momentarily, momentary pleasure, momentary joy, some excitement, and so forth. None of this is uh, going to bring lasting peace and happiness or reduce an iota of our suffering. None of them. Rather, they, although they think this is a golden moment in life, so we enjoy, and that is how they plant the seed of suffering. So they will have, we discussed this in Kajjaniya Sutta also, and Kajjaniya Sutta and this Sutta in this respect are related. We have to see this very clearly. So, see it as it is, tatta tatta vipassati. See it as it arises, and then how to take the advantage of this moment meaningfully in a wholesome way is using the same reasoning. That is, this moment will not arise again. And therefore, take the best advantage of this moment to do something meaningful, to do something to reduce our greed, our hatred and delusion, which definitely will bring peace and happiness to us. And it will build up our wholesome mental habits, and we can bring the suffering to an end. And therefore, we don't know whether this very moment arises again or again. This kind of environment, this kind of health, this kind of youthfulness, this kind of energy, this kind of perseverance and stamina, we may not have again. And therefore, we have to take the advantage of this to do something more wholesome and beneficial. So, Pachupanancha yo dhammam. Pachupanna means this, Dhamma means this mental state. Uh, Tatta tatta vipassati, see that very moment. And asanghirang, asankhupam. Asanghira means invincible. You cannot be vanquished, defeated by any unwholesome negative force, uh, and will not be defeated by being regretful. Uh, Later on, you will regret if you miss this opportunity, and you will be a loser, not a gainer, loser of the moment. So, spiritually looking at this moment, we have to take the advantage of this moment and not to be vanquished, not to be defeated by the Mara, evil ones, unwholesome states. But we always try to win. That is, Buddha said in another place, Yodhet maram panyayudena jitanchara ke anivesanosia. Fight the Mara, evil, unwholesome state with wisdom. Fight the Mara or evil states with wisdom. And yet, after gaining, don't try to dwell there. Don't try to live there. Don't try to hold on to it. Normally, when you gain something in general sense, suppose you have a war and you gain certain land, then you establish a garrison there to, to protect that state. But in a spiritual sense, Buddha said, Jitancharakke animesanosya, when you gain, don't hold on to it. Because if you hold on to anything, you are not a gainer, you are a loser. You are not vanquisher, you are vanquished, not invincible. And therefore, asanghirang, we must learn not to be vanquished, but to be invincible. Asankupang is unshakable. Unshakable, when Buddha attained enlightenment, he said, Akuppa me cheto muti, ayamantima jati natidani punabbhavo. Akuppa means unshakable. So the one who is invincible cannot be shaken by anything in the world. That is why even in Mangala Sutta, we say, Putta saloka dhamme chittang yasa nakampati. Nakampati, unshakable. When worldly vicissitudes arise, that individual's mind will not be shaken. How can that not be shaken? Because the person sees the truth. Once the person sees the truth, the person will not be shaken, whether one gains or lose. When one gains, he knows this gain is not permanent. When one loses, he knows this loss is not permanent. This is impermanent. When one becomes famous, he does not become intoxicated or infatuated with the famous state. He knows that this will be impermanent. When he is blamed or loses fame, and he understands that this state is impermanent. So when he is blamed, he understands that this state is not permanent, it is impermanent. When he is praised, he knows that this state is not permanent, it is impermanent. So he sees impermanence in everything. In every ups and down, he sees impermanence. That is the true nature. When one sees the true nature, that person will not be shaken by worldly ups and downs, gains and losses and so forth. 8 type of worldly vicissitudes. So, asanghirang, asankupang, that person will be invincible and unshakable. Tang vidva manubruhaye. And that is how he lives each moment with wisdom and make sure that everything is in the state of flux. And then next thing is ajjeva kiccang atappang kojanya maranang suve. Today the effort must be made, tomorrow death may come, who knows? No bargain, nahino sangarang tena mahasenena machuna. No bargain with the mortality can keep him and his hordes away. Ajjeva kiccang. Kiccang means what to be done, the duty, kicca. The truth has 3 stages, satya, kicca, kata. Satya is the truth. Truth as truth. Anything truth is satya. And that is as it is called knowing the truth as it is. Satya jnana, satya jnana. The knowledge, understanding, wisdom, the truth as it exactly is called satya jnana. Satya jnana. That is what the Buddha had when he described the Four Noble Truths in 12 aspects, 3 aspects and 12 modes. He explained Satya Kitcha Katha. Kitcha, Satya as the truth, then Kitcha is what is to be done with that truth. What is to be done with that truth? That truth, in this case, the truth of suffering, he understood the truth as it is, and what should that be? What the suffering? What one should do with the suffering? Satya. Kitcha is what is to be done with the suffering. Kata is that knowledge, that understanding is accomplished, completed. That is the truth. uh, Truth he understood as truth. That is Satya Jnana, knowledge. And Kitchanana is what is to be done with that. That is knowledge of that. And then Katha means that knowledge of the truth, that particular truth is complete. Such Kitcha. That is getting rid of that suffering. So, therefore, Ajjeva Kitchang. So, Kitcha means when suffering we see, in case of, say, for instance, greed arises. Greed arises, we know that it is a greed. Then what we should do with the greed, and then that is the second knowledge. What should we do with the greed? The third knowledge, what should we do with the greed is that this greed should be eliminated. That is the duty. That is the kitchen. And kata of that is that greed has been eliminated, destroyed, brought to an end. So ajjeva kitchen, today itself, this very moment, as greed arises, we try to get rid of that greed that very moment. So, in this discourse, Buddha pointed out that in regard to the I and form that arises presently arisen, one's consciousness is bound up with desire and lust for that which is presently arisen. Because one's consciousness is bound with desire and lust, one delights in that. When one delights in that, one is vanquished in regard to present state of existence, or presently arisen state. Presently arisen state. So what is the presently arisen state? Is that lust, desire and lust arisen, and it is lodged in consciousness, and therefore it will it makes the person loser. So this present mental state will be so strong, it will vanquish, it will defeat the person, and this is how one will be vanquished with regard to the arisen state. What is the arisen state? Desire and lust. Arisen in the mind, Patyupanna Chodam Tata says, Ajjeva kichangatapan kojanya marana. So, if we do not uh, deal with this desire right now, there is no chance for future because any defilement, mara here means not only death, but defilements. Any defilements can arise and destroy this moment any moment. And therefore, that before that defilement arises in my mind, in this very moment, I must try to get rid of the possibility of arising defilement. What is that defilement? That already arisen is desire. If I don't get rid of this now, we have no guarantee that I will be able to destroy it tomorrow because there is no guarantee. There is no agreement with evil or unwholesome mental states. Naino Sangrantena Mahasenana Machuna. Mahasena means a whole lot of defilements, not the Mara, personalized Mara or personificated Mara, but the defilements. As we mentioned in Sutta Nipata, Buddha has given the list of 10 Maras. These are the Maras that always try to invade our mind and vanquish us, defeat us, and therefore these are the Maras army, Mahasena of Machu, the by the Mara with Mahasena, big, what do you call, army, destroyer. The army here means whole host of defilements. So there is no agreement that they will not invade our mind. Therefore, when it arises this very moment, we must try to get rid of it. Ajjevikichang atappan kojanya maranasve nahino sangrante mahasenan matina. Then evam viharing atapping ahorattang atanditang tangve bhadde karatvati santo achikate muni. One who dwells this ardently, relentlessly, by day and by night, it is he, the peaceful sage has said, who has said single excellent night. So it is this person, as we explained, who spend the very present moment meaningfully, mindfully, using all this wisdom, understanding, mindfulness to defeat Mara by overcoming desire and lust. And that person is called one who has a single excellent night. The word excellent night, ekaratta, although it is such a long stretch of time, ratta is at least 12 hours. So what it really means, the one who does this is a peaceful person that very same moment, the moment that person destroyed. Then the rest of his life is not one night, maybe many nights that person can live in this state of mind. So that means it does not have darkness in the mind. Ratri represent darkness. Darkness represent ignorance. So this is the moment that person completely destroy Mara and lighten his mind and attain enlightenment. Enlightenment. And this is what the meaning of this stanza. All these are not explained in this way, but the meaning is right there. So, friends, this is a very beautiful discourse. I hope people memorize at least these four stanzas. Four stanzas. Uh, I wish people memorize it in Pali. If they cannot do it in Pali, at least they remember in English. Translation you can find in San Madhyama Nikaya, Sut Madhyama Nikaya, volume 3. English translation is in page 192 and 99. No, English translation is 1043 to 49. Pali is in 192 to 199. Sutta number is 133. It's called Mahakacchana Bhante Sutta. So with this, I want to end this sutta, and I hope to continue this continue another sutta maybe on Wednesday. And thank you very much for participating in this and encouraging us to continue these talks. We started with metta and end this session with metta, and we want to wish all those who are suffering from this COVID-19 be free from suffering and live long in very good health to continue their noble, wonderful practice and liberate themselves from suffering. And there are other beings who are in hospitals suffering, and may the doctors and very nurses and hospital staffs, they are trying very best to help them. May they continue their wonderful service and live long in good health. There are others who have lost their loved ones and they are still grieving. Very often these days we hear such sad stories from various corners of the world, and so we wish them understand Dhamma and relieve their own grief through the understanding of Dhamma and return to their very regular state and continue their practice and live long in very good health. There are others who are financially supporting all these hospitals and various other projects to help these people. May they continue their wonderful selfless service. And there are others, leaders. Some leaders are doing wonderful job some parts of the world and making right decision and making people happy. There are some other leaders, they are trying in their own way to help people, but they still have not been successful. We want to wish them to be wise, understanding, more compassionate, and to make right decision, wise decision to help the world. With this benediction, I want to end this morning's session. Thank you again for your participation.